Okay, reconnection successful. So yeah, it's OBS, guys. I don't know why. So when you go live, it goes by KBS, and I average around 1500. And then it just goes to zero. It just flatlines immediately. If it was my internet, you'd see a slow move down, but not a complete crash to zero. I don't know what it is, but we're reconnected now, so hopefully that's also on your end. We're reconnected, but a potential setup nonetheless on Euro NZD. And wow, see, so it disconnected totally and then opened up a new stream. That is just disgusting. That is annoying. So we're back up live. It should be the same link. Goodness gracious. Just give it a second. Everyone looks like the chat got reconnected too, and everyone got moved over. Um, So it's OBS, no doubt. It just can't drop to zero like that. Because if it was my internet, so right now I'm averaging around 1480 kbs, and then out of nowhere it just dropped to zero. If it was more of an internet issue, which we had in the past, it'd stay around 300 kbs. But I don't know. I have my antivirus off, so it shouldn't be targeting OBS. But we're back. Okay, cool. So Euro NZD, this setup I'll send in through on Discord, so everyone has a record of it. But mainly, we're looking for that 4-hour closure now, since the past 8 hours have been pretty bearish. And the alert I set before the stream got disconnected, 1.821,350, crossing down. And we want a 4-hour closure below that level I just spoke of. And that is this current 4-hour closure. And we'll have it in the next hour and 40. So, pretty decent setup. Someone asked for pound NSD and pound NZD. Let's take a look. And we had a long last week, but I don't think it's going to be there anymore. I'm looking for shorts. Here we go. So let's pull up the idea again. Minor analysis and pound NZD daily closure above 2.10 thousand. 2.10 thousand requirement, and you can see our alert is still here at 2.10278, 2.10 500. So none of these got activated, and so similar to Euro NZD, I'm thinking of maybe shorting this thing, as the Eurozone is definitely in some trouble right now with the pandemic, but more importantly, NZD is making a pretty good fight against the dollar. So, in short, this is a daily idea right here. I'd probably wait for the daily closure, just because pound NZD is pretty volatile. It could, how it can move. For example, just this day alone, it's moved over 300 pips, and the day has just started. So, yeah, this thing can be very volatile, and so I'd rather wait for us to get a good entry. But 300 pips within a day is pretty crazy. So, we will see what this looks like maybe at the end of the day or at 1 p.m. at the 4-hour closure and determine what we're going to do. But this could just be a sharp pullback before we go higher. So I'd be careful. This thing is just so volatile that even if you're taking an intraday trade, your stop loss is going to be over 2, 3, 400 pips, and so that's something you have to take in consideration. Especially since I want to short Euro NZD, and that thing can move pretty quick too. So, okay, so I have a lot of pair recommendations coming through. So yeah, GU. Let's get started with GU. That is a pair that we were pretty excited about on Friday. I'm still kind of optimistic. You can see right here that this thing can be good to go very soon. It's just about patience. So the daily, if you just pop back to the daily still looks pretty bearish. Looks pretty good to go short. We broke out a consolidation box. I think it's time to go lower for pound dollar. Now, the 4-hour time frame. On Friday's session, we basically discussed this zone right here, these two levels. If I pull this up, So on Friday, I took a short earlier in the morning because we reached 1 hour support here, and then since then we kind of stalled at this level. So that's what we're waiting for, a 4 hour closure below 1.22 thousand, and we should be good money for shorts. Now put an alert, and I'll send this chart work through in case you don't have it. So I'm just gonna put my alert at 1.21968 crossing down on the 4 hour time frame, and we should see what happens. But if history repeats itself, which it should, as the dollar gets optimistic this week, we should have a replication of this sell-off right here occur on this end. So it's pretty good. We actually got this retrace back up to this support we created when we made these highs. When we made these highs, we used this level as support right here, and it's good that we broke it and we came back to retest it. It's a nice kind of price action to tell us that if we do reject it, we're definitely headed lower. And some may even call this a triple top, first, second, third, and this is the neckline where they join. So we got to break up the neckline and you retest. And if you get a rejection, then the shorts are pretty confident in that. So that's what we have. Obviously a huge trade with a lot of downside potential. So this could definitely be a home run hitter, and it's a 4.5 R2R. So I believe I sent this through on Friday, but if I didn't, I'll send it in again. Aussie dollar, nope, so I'll send it again. But yeah, so that is the level. I'm pretty sure it will show on the chart. Yeah, so 1.22 thousand, 1.22 thousand is the level we need to break on the 4 hour time frame. It needs to be bearish, and we're good money. So I'll save that. So that's GU. 1 second. As I go through this, send in your pair recommendations. What's up, guys? A lot of messages, holy. So I'll try to get them one by one. But AU. So yeah, we'll talk about Aussie dollar because I want to short it. So Aussie is probably going to be looking to cut rates again. Well, that's what the markets are projecting, but this thing has made a pretty deep retrace, and that's why I don't like trading Sundays. It's not really a deal for me. That's what I've found, in my opinion. I would like to wait for Monday's New York session, but anyways, same idea from Friday, where we're just waiting for a 4 hour closure below its previous low. We didn't get that, obviously. Sunday we kind of actually opened up with a gap to the upside, so we'll see. I think this is just a little mini retrace before they cut rates today at midnight, and this thing should continue moving down. But I mean, it's still within price action of a short. Trend line, you can see well within the kind of norm of going short. You can even see it's kind of a flag pattern. So this could be interesting. This could be just technically this is a bullish pattern. You have an uptrend, you have a kind of a downtrend as consolidation, and then you have a breakup. So this is like a bullish flag kind of in the process. So we'll watch out for this for sure. But nonetheless, if they do cut rates, you should see this thing track back down here, and we had the sit up. So if you go long right now, you're currently against the trend, pretty heavy, even on the daily. If I just move those two lines. So popping to the daily, you'll see that we had some significant momentum. And then on this morning during New York, I guess when the headlines came out that this thing might have peaked, Australian dollar, the one that's been kind of affected one of the most out of this whole pandemic, has kind of jumped up. So we'll see, but overall, I mean, it has to take care of this high, and this high before you even think of longs. You can see our original long idea for our closure above 0.65 thousand. So if we do get that, then by all means I'm open to longs. But as long as we stay below that level, we have to stick with the trend, and that's short. So that is pretty much consistent with what we've been looking for Aussie dollar. A break of 0.65 to go long. For anywhere below it, probably looking for shorts. So we'll see if this thing comes back to down to earth, if they cut rates tonight. So in 12 hours we'll know what Aussie dollar will be up to. So I'm gonna remove this. I don't really see any setup right now, so I won't send it. But I guess right now the bias is mixed. But if they cut rates tonight, then it should be a bearish bias. Next up, cable. We already did that. Nice Aussie dollar. Nice NZD. Let's look at the NZD is gonna mirror Aussie, so I'm not gonna look at it too much. But you can technically see it's a very similar mirror. Again, we are waiting for a 4-hour closure on Monday below 0.58363. We have an alert here, has not been activated, so setup's still valid. I mean, it's pretty much an identical copy of what's happening with Aussie, and it will also be affected by the rate cut, so we'll just wait till then. Now, U.S. oil is an interesting one. Obviously, last week Trump kind of bailed them out, and then we have OPEC this week, and oh my goodness, there's a pretty good short on the 4-hour time frame. Wow. Wow. And I think, was this a deal we discussed? I'm not sure if we discussed a potential short, but I mean, it's not bad. 4-hour looks pretty good. You see we had a gap down. We actually filled the gap. 4-hour count was pretty bearish. Pretty solid intraday level. 27.55 resistance. And the R2R is 2.0. Okay, so I'm going to identify this high here if we do take this trade. Give it a bit of breathing room. Our stop loss would be around 170 pips. You go 50% regular position. That would be around an 85 pip stop loss. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. We do have some minor support here, which we're trying to break. Okay, so this is the setup we're going to be looking at. Now, I usually do like the 4-hour time frame for this, but since the 4-hour is pretty bearish in itself, what we'll do is we'll go to the 1-hour time frame, and you can see I identified the support here, and so you can see we've kind of created this support, right, on our previous attempt up, support here, and then we even gapped down to this area. So if this 1-hour closure can close below 26.30 per barrel, we'll take the short down, and ideally I hope it can give us a closure maybe somewhere down here, because right now our R2R is 2.98, right? If we enter right around here when we get that bearish closure, but if we get somewhere down here, for example, then we can make our stop loss even tighter, right? So if we were to get a 4-hour closure like somewhere down here, right, then our stop loss could be down here. We would have no reason to make it all the way up here, right? So that improves our R2R tremendously to a 4.41. So yeah, so let's wait for the next 1-hour closure. That's going to be happening around 30 minutes, and we'll know. I'll put an alert because oil tends to like to activate alerts when we're live, and we usually get great entries. So I'll save this and I'll send this through, but pretty solid. And I think we have like a 90% success rate on oil, so I'm always happy to take oil. Pound yen, let's take a look at pound yen. For you, those on YouTube, I did not forget about you guys. It's just everyone, you got to get on Discord. If you want to get things covered and looked at, Discord is a place to be. Now even GJ is presenting a pretty decent intraday setup. Kind of stuck in a range, right? You can kind of see the range it's stuck in. Just from this level to this level, it's kind of stuck in there. Right, and if you actually extend this over, this makes more sense. So this is the range it's kind of in. So yeah, you could, if you're, if you want to take an intraday setup, you can probably take this short if you want. Shoot. Let's see. If the R2R is there, why not, right? Let's see. Stop loss there. Take profit here. 1.85. Not bad at all. let's see, the stop loss would be 80 pips. See the 1 hour. Okay, so a bit of an indecision going on here. I usually would take the setup, but since we missed the initial reaction, and now we're showing maybe a potential retrace up, I'd rather pass on this. I think U.S. oil looks a bit more promising. So I'll put an alert. I'll see what happens just to see, and if it does give us an entry, I'll call the trade. But it's Monday. We can be patient. Oh, okay. There you go. That's fine. I want an alert here. No, I don't want an alert there. I want an alert here. Why is it not letting me put an alert? Alright, here, cool. So we'll see. I mean, if you're risk seeking, then you can probably take the setup, but I would not, and I would not count it in the pip count. Next up, oh yeah, people on YouTube. Okay, so I think I covered most of the recommendations on Discord, and to sign up for a Discord, the link's in the video of the live, so give it a look. Alright, so a lot of messages. Hope you guys are well. Good morning, David, Tomas. USD yen, for sure. Let's take a look at USD yen. Now, I think we might have to do a top down for this. Never mind, we're good. So USD yen. Talk about confusing price action. I mean, last month was definitely an indecision candle, equal way to the top and bottom pretty much. At one point it was down here, but based on this wick, I do think we should start looking for buys for USD yen, especially with the optimism coming around about the pandemic. Now you can see on the weekly time frame, we do have this minor support right at 108.800. You can see multiple rallies from this level, and the rallies vary in size. Sometimes you'll have a full range rally, other times you'll go halfway, other times you'll go halfway. So that's fine as long as we get some pips. That's all that matters. Now, in the past we've had, last week we had a nice bullish hammer come off this kind of region right here. And so that tells me there's some upside momentum coming in to be at the support right now. The daily, let's see the daily. The daily's not bad. It's actually giving us a pretty good place to enter as it's on a retrace now. Looking to the left, you can see where price has struggled in the recent rallies. Most importantly at these highs right here. Right at 109.600. Now, that'd probably be a potential target. You can see over the London session, we actually tried to make a push up to that level. Since then, price was squeezed back down. So that tells me that it's not all the way through the whole bullish momentum, right? If it was there, it definitely would have arrived to this level. So that's telling me that there may be some sellers pouring in, and yeah, you can see that. So what I'd probably wait for USD yen, now that we have a kind of a trend shift and we've cleared this high and this high, it's probably looking like we're going to make another attempt to 109.600. Now I'd probably wait for a retrace back to this level, back to the support, 108.772, so around 25 pips away, and then look for longs, right? And look for maybe a 4-hour bearish reaction off this level, like something like this, just a nice bullish candle. A bullish hammer would be great, so something like this bullish hammer right here would be awesome, right? So just a huge push, pull back, push, pull back with a bullish hammer. Basically replicate this bullish hammer right over here, and we can take the long. And if we get a bullish hammer like this with a wick down here, the overall long will be looking like this in terms of R2R. We'll have a stop loss right below the wick of the foreseeable hammer, and you have a 2.67 R2R. It can also be just a bullish candle like this one right here, very fat body, very little wick to the top and bottom. Again, that'll give a good R2R as well. Just depending on the side, you'd have to adjust the stop loss, but nonetheless, still pretty good setup. So I think we will get that pullback, especially going into Australian session, and the rate cut will definitely have an effect on the yen, but hopefully we're in and out of that trade before then. So pretty good pair recommendation. Thank you for that. So I'll put an alert somewhere down here. 108.859 crossing down, and just look for reactions of both signs at 108.750. Okay, 108.750. I'll even put a 108.750 bullish reaction 4 hour. Okay, and then I'll send this through. This is what we need. Somewhere down here, that's what we need to go long, and possible 2.0, 2.4 R2R. So I'll save this. USDN looks pretty good. What's next? Someone said BTC. Okay, BTC and gold. Let's go look at gold. Because gold has been on a mission. And my goodness. Could it finally reach 1670 or 1700? So you guys remember the week before last week, before our short, I was pretty bullish on gold. I'm just trying to move these 1650 psych level. Okay, boom, 1650, and then 1675. I'm just trying to replicate the old long idea I had. I don't want to dig through Discord. Okay, and then we had 1700 being hit. Okay, so it looks something like this, where we were here, and I was trying to go long. I kind of jumped the gun, right? And so I got some profits, but my running position stopped out in loss, and the overall trade, I think I ended in minor loss. But since then, we took this snappy short down for maybe 140 pips. I only got 30 since I was moving out, but whatever. Since then, we kind of pulled back as the fears around this pandemic have kind of slowed down, right? And it's kind of like a point where, yes, gold is a safe haven, and when you have like a pandemic happening, gold should rise. But at the same time, it's gold versus, it's gold spot versus US dollar, right? Now, when you have, the safe haven, the dollar acts as a safe haven. It is a safe haven. So when you have optimism about this pandemic, the dollar is going to lose its effectiveness as a safe haven. So that's why, even though you saw gold reach new highs, you had moments of huge sell-offs. That's because the dollar was gaining some power. Now that this week things are looking a bit more happy and not gloomy, I'm going to see gold probably make a push, especially with the OPEC meeting and with the Aussie rate cuts later tonight. So gold could, at the end of the week, be at 1700. It wouldn't be a shock to anyone. But for us, I do want to get in on this because I did have a projection of 1700 and ultimately 1800 for the year of 2020, if you guys remember. So for us, the next level is the 1650 psychological level we have to clear. Mainly on the 4 hour, you can see the overall momentum since this previous sell-off just jumped above and took out these highs like instantly. So looking to the left, you can see anytime we've had a bullish closure, and this is what price action is based on. So if we go here, 1650 psychological level, this is a 4 hour candle, bullish. It's very bullish, big body, very little wick to the top and bottom. You can see a nice push all the way to 1665, and then even to 1700. Similar price action again. You got a technically a bullish closure at one point. It actually went all in one go to this level, and even here, right? We've had a previous bullish reaction off this 1650 level, and we made a pretty decent push over 200 pips, right? We didn't go all the way to 1675, but we were around 40 pips short. So that is the thought process this week for gold. Now, if gold does continue to go up, you should see USD yen go lower as their inverses. So that is definitely something to watch out for. So maybe the current retrace against the yen is only momentarily, and that's because Japan declared a state of emergency because of the pandemic, and we'll talk about that in a second. So gold 4-hour closure above 1650 psychological level on the 4-hour time frame, and we'll target 1700, right? And our stop loss will be, I think 1635 might be good. Yeah, so we have a 2.91, and if you're you might think that this is like a swing trade. It's really not. So if you take an example, yesterday was the 5th, right? So if you just measure, this move, this move from the 5th happened in 1 day, and if you just measure how much it moved, gold moved around 400 pips in 1 day, right? In 1 day. So who's to say that in the course of 2-3 days we don't get this move? So you can even see in a day we can possibly have our 1700 level reached. So a lot of important meetings this week, and Trump is speaking every day, I think at 6 p.m. Eastern, with the pandemic task force about the whole event. So we'll know then, but till then we'll be patient. We'll wait for that 4-hour closure. I'm gonna have my alert at 1653 crossing up. And again, if I get this alert while I'm awake, while I'm from the charts, I'll definitely send a signal with specific take profits and levels and stop loss levels. So don't worry about that, but getting the entry is the most important part. Make sure you set the trading view alerts, because that's what's going to give you the quickest buck and quickest entry before things get chaotic, because this thing could very easily close above here, and then in the next 4-hour candle reach 1675, just like that. So next up, got a lot of people on YouTube today. It's awesome. So we looked at USD yen, gold, oil, GUGJ, Kiwi dollar, cable. What's next? Someone asked for BTC. I guess I'll give that a look. Let me check the portal. Can you comment on we already did pound NSD, so that's great. NZD, that's great. What's up next? Give me some more pair recommendations. If not, I'll be looking at some pairs that I might want to trade this week. USD CAD is just consolidating. My goodness. Doesn't look too enticing. And we're at around 47 minutes for the session, so I think I can cover one more pair. Alright, since someone asked, I think I'll do BTC, and we'll finish this session off. So BTC, let's go to the weekly, because that's the time frame that's been pretty accurate for us, and just follow the arrows. It's so easy. So literally, so this was the first arrow we drew on this trend line. We saw this happen. We call all of this, and then you can see exactly what we did recently. So we had a short trade of breaking 6,000. We got this, and then we had a potential to go lower. We needed a 4-hour closure below this horizontal rate. We didn't get that. So what I said was we'll get a deep retrace all the way to this trend line. We're pretty much 70% of the way there, and this is the trend line I drew on the weekly, connecting the highs from 2017 when it made its all-time high, and just connecting all these previous candles. It's pretty clear on the monthly, but we'll just go to the monthly right now. On the monthly, you can see the actual the high right here, and you can see we struggled for many months to close above this level until this pandemic happened, when we did, but we immediately closed back below. And I said, because we're printing such a big hammer, this is a bearish hammer with a long wick on the monthly time frame, I do think there's some bullish momentum that'll push it back to retrace this trend line. Now, if we do get a closure outside of this trend line, then I do think another rally to 13,000 will happen. But we do have some ways to go, but that's the idea. So it's playing out pretty much for the T. If you did take the long, then you would be in good money. But I'm pretty much always take shorts on BTC, nothing else. But look for this kind of area right here. This area right here around 8,000. 8,000 is a good level for BTC rejections from this trend line to go back down. Overall target for 2020 is 3,000, maybe worse. But definitely we have to break 3,000 first and then maybe head lower. But that's BTC. Let me check all of the chats. Everyone's good. And YouTube. USD CAD. Okay, a lot of them are coming in. And at the end of the session, which is in a bit, I'll give the 50% off coupon code so you can become a full member and join all our sessions. USD CAD looks consolidated. Don't really see anything much. Euro Yen. Okay, thank you for reminding me about Euro Yen. Before the session, I was thinking maybe we have a long on this, but the price action is so conflicted that maybe we do not. So now, let me see which chart it was. Maybe it's this one. Nope. TradingView needs to remove all these. Okay, here. Anyways, yeah, but I was thinking we could probably take a long. Just on the weekly, looks pretty good. Obviously, earlier in this session, this thing was a bit more bullish than what it's giving right now. But take a look at the daily. You can see at one point this candle was, up here, looking pretty good for a buy, especially since we cleared secondary support. So I was probably thinking of taking longs on Euro Yen, especially with the with the optimism in the pandemic right now. So the 4-hour time frame, you can kind of see at one point we were up here. Since then we snapped back down. Very similar to last week's setup where I gave for Euro Yen. We just need a 4-hour closure, bullish above 117, 118 basically, 118 flat, or 117.985 if you want to be technical about it. But a bullish closure on the 4-hour time frame above 118 is good to go. Obviously, these candles, these wicks are not bullish closures. We want a big body, and that's what we're looking for. So put an alert. Hopefully this thing can come around. I do think we can probably enter this maybe by Wednesday if we do get that closure. But I put my alert at 118.021, and then the long, it's beautiful, the R2R. $3.58. And it's not because we're doing anything special, it's just because we're getting an entry right at a key level that if we do get a bullish closure, we're going to be with the momentum and the trend. So we are coming off some good support, as you can see even down here. A lot of wicks in this area. We had a nice rebound from here. If you just trade based off levels and not even look at reactions, if you just traded based off this reaction right here, you just went long, you would have been in good money, right? So just keep it consistent, keep trading with the levels and see what they do. But we could have a long for Euro Yen with the target of 119.200. So I'll save this and send it through, and have an alert at 118.025. Alright, so I'll quickly do GA. S&P 500, I kind of just do it a long term. I'm looking to buy actually this week, but I'm going to wait for Wednesday. More importantly, what Trump says before I buy S&P 500. But I'll give it a quick look. GA. If you want to know what stocks I'm looking to buy, I actually have a nice list going. It's mainly 5G oriented, but I think that's where the money's at. Anyways, GA looking pretty good for shorts. Obviously, right now Aussie dollar is making a pretty solid retrace, and so as Aussie dollar goes up, GA will naturally fall. It is coming in between the consolidation zone we drew about 2 weeks ago, where pound Aussie was just stuck in this range. Multiple trade entries here. I do think that if we do get the 4-hour closure, that looks bearish. Right now it's an indecision candle, but if this 4-hour body can come, close a wick something like this, then we can probably take a short down to one of these levels, maybe all the way down here, or at least certainly maybe this intraday zone right here, this support. A lot of wicks here, so definitely an idea. As Aussie dollar is just dominating this session. It's just dominating the U.S. dollar this session. But in less than 12 hours, we have the RBA rate cut statement. So if they do cut rates, then you should see pound Aussie fly, especially with the volatility it's known for. But the price action, it's technically still an uptrend. I would say, even though it has cleared these previous lows, it could just use this previous resistance as support, and then rock it up. So just be cautious of that. But this is definitely a riskier trade to take. But anyways, the 4-hour closure is required to take this trade. I think U.S. oil, euro yen, and pound dollar are much more better, more high probable setups, and even euro NZD. So I think I'd probably wait for those to play out. It's only Monday, right? So we have all the time in the world, and there's barely any fundamental news this week. So we'll be in smooth conditions. So I probably wouldn't enter this setup, but if you were looking for shorts and you just needed a my confirmation, then there you have it. S&P 500, so let's just quickly look at it. SPX. In terms of stocks, so yeah, this was my previous analysis for S&P 500. And this thing is stuck. We actually have a separate section for this on Discord. You might want to get on there. It is where did it go? The U.S. stock section. So we have our trader op-ed holding it down, and yeah, he's putting a lot of content there for stocks. So get on our Discord, and you can probably get access to this. But nonetheless, S&P 500, that 2,500 psychological level is very important. You can see it's just, it has gap down below there, but every single time it's pulled its way back above. Now, the longer it stays above 2,500, I think the more chance it has to make a push back up. This is the long-term level projection I had for S&P 500. Now, tell me this does not look good as a long-term setup. Obviously, you probably have to clear maybe 3,000 before you get there, or even 2,700. 3,000 is a good level, but you can see the huge wick to the downside. We're still above 2,500, and I think when this pandemic is all said and done, you should see S&P 500 reach 3,500. So, and at this point, I'm going to give everyone the 50% off coupon code for our Forex trade room. So if you liked today's session and you want more, we do these every weekday. The only free sessions are on Monday and then Friday after we make all the profits. So if you want to get in on the juicy profits and get full access to our Discord, to 5 different signal providers, 6 different signal providers, all my chart work from Elliott wave theory traders, ICT traders, scalpers, you name it. You want to get on the Discord, get all the sessions and signals. Use the coupon code FIRST50. All you have to do is go to forexlens.com and then go to Forex Trading Room. Then click Get Full Access. When you fill out this form, it takes 1 minute to fill out this form. Click Next, and at the bottom you'll see Add a promo code. If you use this promo code, you will get 1 month of all my live sessions, 6 signal providers, full access to Discord for $48.50. That is a tab when I go out, with the buddies for a few drinks. That's, a tab for lunch. It's really not too much money to invest in yourself, and most people make back their fee their first week. So that's going to be your fee for the first month, $48.50. Take advantage. You have all the time in the world with social distancing. So yeah, that's the coupon code. Hopefully I see some new faces in tomorrow's session. We'll be definitely getting some juicy entries then. Without further ado, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the session. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. This Friday we'll be picking a winner for a free month of full service, and so that could be you. And yeah, that's it, guys. So be safe and happy trading. Peace.